When it comes to design thinking, the core of it lies in the ability of the service provider or the goods manufacturer to empathize. Empathize with the end user. It taps on his intelligence as well as his team's intelligence, creativity, and ambition to make a meaningful difference, a measurable impact in the life of the user, both functionally as well as emotionally. This is the core, empathy is the core of design thinking. A very warm welcome, dear friends, once more to a session, a more introspective session, a deeper session of design thinking. Well, how do we start? How do we get started? How do you get an insight into what the user wants? For this, we have a wonderful tool called Empathy Map. Now, lest you start thinking that it is my creation, let me inform you that this wonderful tool of an empathy map was actually designed for the first time by a genius design thinker, Dave Gray. It still is very much used in so many applications. A very, very useful tool. Now, as per this tool, Dave Gray says that one can get a deep insight into the user's physical, mental, and emotional state, which makes him desire more than the desire an innate want because of the pain he undergoes for a particular kind of goods or services. Now, when we talk about the empathy map as of such, as I told, what is required is a judgment, is an understanding with your eyes open, ears open, and your mind open in a very non-judgmental way of what the user actually wants. What are his needs? So you go into the arena, move around with the users, keep your eyes open and get data with the help of this empathy map as to what must be going on in his mind. Now let's take the case. We'll study a deep case of a hospice center, a hospice care center. Let's take this particular case for the remaining video too. We have a number of inmates. You need to design a hospice care center for cancer patients who are in their terminal stage. Is it the same as a hospital? Definitely not. Hospital is a cure center. It's a care center where efforts are taken to cure the patient. But here we have terminal patients. So what is required is a palliative care center wherein the pain is minimized and for the remaining part of his life, life is made as easy as possible, made the patient accept the truth and accept it with peace and in a very stoic manner and read the rest of his life. It could be 2 days, 3 days or 4 months or 5 months in a peaceful manner, in a very happy manner, leading a very spiritual kind of life. That is the kind of center that has to be designed. There is going to be medical care, but the medical care is going to be a palliative center. So we have in hand a piece of land, natural piece of land, around 10 acres of it. And there is some natural pond over there. It's a fertile land. It is this piece of land where a hospice care center has to be designed and constructed. Now, before the empathy map tries to understand what would go into the mind, what does he feel, what does he hear, and what does he see, and as a result, what does he say and do before he goes into this hospice care center. What would be the mental state of this particular patient or any inmate who is going to go into the hospice care center. Remember, he is loved by his people at home, but they feel he needs a better kind of atmosphere to spend the rest of his days. All right. So now you create an empathy map. Remember, design thinking cannot be done by just one person. So you brainstorm along with your team and take tiny bits of sticker. You're already meeting the end user, maybe similar such patients, or sit and introspect and try to gather data as to what he thinks and feels. Now for this, let's have a diagrammatic representation over here to see what he must be thinking and what he must be feeling, and then understand the pain gain process. So, here is the empathy map, here is the diagrammatic representation. Now, as a design thinker, you have to have an insight by actually experiencing what the user experiences to find out what he thinks, what he feels. Now, suppose you try to find out what he thinks and feels, what will he think? Am I a burden? Why me of all people? And what will happen after death? These are a few of the thoughts that may enter his mind. Then, what does he see? People at home are a little knackered because they have to take care. At the same time, they have the pain of losing somebody important. At the same time, they're being very sweet to that person. The atmosphere at home is very, very gloomy. What does he hear? Often he hears very kind, sympathetic comments. Sometimes there are unasked for opinion. A few are also blunt and rude and say, okay, this is the fact, you better accept it. Because of what he thinks and what he feels and what he sees, as a result of this, what does he say and do? He's constantly or she's constantly weeping. She throws temper tantrums. She snaps back at people or he snaps back at people. He refuses to cheer up. This is the mental state of the person before he enters. So all these ideas are obtained with the team as well as the design thinker puts it in the form of tiny stickers on a board. And hence also you try to imagine what is the pain that the patient may undergo. Suppose he enters into the hospice center, what kind of pain would he perceive? How? What are the pains as per the diagram? Other patients, will they hurt me? Will they depress me? And will they make me feel at home? These are the feelings that would come into him as a pain. And what is again he gets? He gets peace. He perceives that he will get peace. There will be less physical pain because there is palliative care and there is a sense of fulfillment. Some degree of spirituality will come and he understands that he will gain a sense of acceptance of his condition and hence he will be able to accept death the way it is. So these are the aspects of this empathy map. Now when we talk about this empathy map, you yourself could understand it's a wonderful tool with the help of which you can proceed further to the next particular step. This is the first stage of design thinking. I had introduced you to empathy. So this is a tool for understanding, for an empathetic understanding of the user's pains and needs. So dear friends, try to use the pause button and go through this concept again and again, and do not forget to share your view as well as your views with your friends, and we'll meet again in the next video for more insight, a more detailed insight into the process of the next few stages of design thinking. Till then, goodbye and have a great day ahead.